Hey, it's Mr. Barr here for your driver's ed lesson of the day. A couple things I need to talk to you guys about beforehand. There are some of you that I have contacted via email telling you that you're missing work. Let's get that done. Those should be in your email from me. They're Google Forms. All you got to do is enter the forms and the grade comes to me automatically. So get those done. Make sure you're watching these videos. When the videos get done, you need to email me as well, because that's your proof of attendance for the day. So after you get done watching this video, send me an email saying, watch the video, thanks Mr. Barr, and I will mark you down as watching the video. If you guys get back on next Tuesday and you have done none of this, chances are you're getting removed from the class, because we have got to be doing this for keeping up with what we're supposed to do. So watch the videos, do whatever assignments I give you, so that we can stay on pace for the class. On the last lesson, we talked about some different weather conditions. We talked about how to handle fog, turn off the bright lights, but have your lights on, slow down, signal early, flashes if it's too bad. In rain, if the wipers come on, the lights come on, turn the cruise off. In a high wind situation, make sure you are looking for a storm that may be coming with it and stay off the roads with big trailers. In winter, make sure you leave early so that you are not rushing yourself, because when you rush in the winter, that's when you get in trouble. Again, no cruise, remove blockage from anywhere and everywhere that you have lights, windows, and whatnot. Equipment, what to do during a blowout or wheel loss, what to do in a steering failure situation, a brake failure situation, how to handle headlight failure, stuck gas pedal, blocked vision, how to drive on the interstate, use your entry and exit lanes to speed up and slow down as necessary. Check 360 when you change lanes, so blinker and check. Do not follow too closely. The right lane is for slow traffic. Pass on the left, return to the right. Do not stop. If you must, pull off to the side or go to an exit. If you miss your exit, don't back up. Go to the next exit. Night driving, make sure you don't overdrive what you can see. Don't use your interior lights. Rural intersections can be difficult because of corn and other things that are blocking views, and they may not have signs. Curves, slow down, head on, what to do there. Slow down, pull over, sound horn was the quick tips, along with some other stuff. Skidding, ease off the gas, steer with the skid until you regain control, then go against the skid. Don't automatically swerve the other direction, because that's when your car tends to want to flip. What to do if you start to drive off the pavement: hold on tight, slowly re-enter. In a fire situation, you need to pull off the road, turn off your engine, move away from the vehicle, call the fire department. Remember, get people out, don't worry about stuff. In a water crash, get out the window as quick as possible. If you go under, you're going to have to break the window. The window could be hard to break because the door won't open, all that kind of stuff. No wireless phone use until you turn 19. Even when you're 19, it's supposed to be hands-free Bluetooth operation. What distracted driving is, and we talk a lot about phones, but it's also anything that is distracting me from driving. Some other hazards: poisoning from exhaust, electricity, if a power pole falls down on near your car, and an explosive fire situation. And then now today we're moving over and on to a super important one that's kind of a lesson in itself. It's being pulled over. This one is one that is a mandatory cover for driver's ed, and I give a lot of attention to it because everything going on in the world today, the issues we're having with cop relations is bad because of the fact that we're having negative relationships between us and the police. And us is not me, that would be some people. I have not had issues because, again, it's one of these things where, you know, as long as you stay calm and you are compliant and respectful, that's what you get in return. If you are uncompliant and disrespectful, you're probably going to get that in return. So the key here is just take a deep breath and relax. You also have to understand that just like us, cops are humans. They make mistakes. They have bad days. So if a cop is short with you or in a bad mood, be the better person like we've talked about with some of the other things here, and don't start some sort of issue that is not necessary. So being pulled over, what do we need to do? It says first things first here, slow down, pull over as soon as possible. If the car is unmarked, drive to a safe, well-lit spot. So what that means is if a cop is behind me, I want to pull over to a safe position. If the road has very small shoulders, we don't want to stop there. We want to maybe go to the next road down and turn and get to a side road that's less traffic. Depending on where you do pull over, the cop could come to the passenger side versus the driver's side for their safety as well. The unmarked car is kind of an interesting one as well, because we do see that kind of around us, because some of the cops around here drive SUVs or just regular cars that don't have lights on the top and lettering that show that they are cops. If you feel like you're in an unsafe situation and you don't know who's behind you, go ahead and continue at a slow pace, like not trying to get away from the cop, but at a slow pace, and move to a very public location. And when the cop asks why you kept going, you can say, I felt unsafe and I want to make sure you were an actual cop, and they should be okay with that. So after I get pulled over, I'm on the side of the road. What I should do is I should put my car in park. I should put my flashers on. I could roll down the window right away and shut the car off. If it's super hot or super cold or rainy, you could probably leave the car running and wait for the officer to get to the window to roll the window down and then maybe turn it off, or he may let you leave it running. But key during this time is to make sure that you keep your hands in sight. So have everybody in the car keep their hands up on the back of the seat. You keep your hands on the steering wheel. If there's another front passenger, have them keep their hands kind of on the dashboard. This puts the cop at ease because there's no movement going on and he can see what everybody's doing. When the cop comes to your window, they're going to ask for your license and registration. If you have to reach for these things, tell the officer, my license is in my wallet, it's in my pocket. Can I reach for that? My registration is in the glove box. Can I reach for that? Because again, by speaking and telling the officer what you're doing, they understand what's going on and they're not getting on edge. At some point during this conversation, the officer is probably going to ask you, do you know what you did wrong? If you actually know what you did wrong, don't lie. Tell the truth. Because sometimes when you just tell the truth, they'll be like, okay, thank you for being honest. Go along your ways. Or if you don't know, say, I do not know what I did wrong. Be honest about that as well. So be honest either way, then the officer will tell you what you did wrong. At this point, I wouldn't argue with the officer, but if you disagree with the officer, you can try to have a calm conversation about what you think happened and see if you can come to an agreement on it. If the officer still seems like he's going to give you a ticket, don't get mad, don't get upset. Like, take the ticket. If you want to fight it in court, you can fight it in court, because even though you get a ticket, the ticket does not mean you're guilty. You are not guilty till the judge says you are guilty. So just accept the ticket, sign it, and fight your court battle the next time. So then the officer will return to this car. Typically at that point, you're either going to get a citation, you're going to get a warning, or maybe a paper warning or a verbal warning. So the officer comes back, gives you a paper warning or a verbal warning, you're going to get your license back, and they're going to tell you, just don't do that anymore. Or you're going to get a ticket. In that case, usually the officer is going to keep your license and hand you a piece of paper that becomes your ticket at that point. Take the ticket or whatever you get, thank the officer. When the officer returns to his car, you can then go ahead and turn your flashers off, blinker, check, and re-enter the road. If at some point during this exchange you feel like the officer may have done something wrong, or you felt uncomfortable with the situation, it is completely okay to contact their supervisor or somebody and say, such and such just pulled me over. I felt like they did this and it was uncomfortable, yada, yada, yada. So that is okay to turn in an officer that has done something wrong. So just make sure that you kind of understand that there's multiple things you can do to deal with these. But in general, my biggest thing I always tell students is just be respectful. If you start to kind of get mouthy with a cop or lippy, believe it or not, you're going to gain more tickets than you are if you just are respectful and communicate. The way you talk matters. Be respectful with your tone. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. Look them in the eye. Be confident. But again, it just comes back down to respect. If you give them respect, they're probably going to treat you in the same manner. And in the end, everybody's going to be better off. So remember, keys to being pulled over are be respectful, comply, sign it even if you don't agree with it, because eventually you can fight it in court. Your ticket becomes your license. All these types of things play out. But again, the key here is respect, 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 and things tend to go a lot better. Okay, today that'll be your video for the day, but I'm also going to send a video with this that shows a couple scenes of being pulled over. I want you to watch those because they were put on. I'm hoping I still have it. It's from Carbondale, and some kids put one together for their school, and it kind of shows some good and bad scenarios. So watch this video, watch the video I send you. Once you watch both these videos, send me a response saying, watch the videos, thank you, Mr. Barr. Check your Power School for zeros. Check for absentee. If you got a bunch of absences, it's because I'm not getting work from you. If you were on quarantine before and you got 4 A's for absence, you need to get a hold of me and figure out what work you need to make up. And I'll probably say, watch the videos that I sent you in your email and send me a response, and I'll take those days back. But if I don't get a response from you that, why am I missing these days, and you just miss more days, you are going to get removed from the class. So make sure you're doing your work. Have a good day.